The type of stories that Jesus used always had two levels of meanings to them. One was just simply the general level or the first level or the outer level. Just talking about a typical Middle Eastern village where there was a wealthy landowner who had servants and business opportunities that was very lucrative. That's the first level. The deeper level is the fact that this was not just any ordinary story, it was a parable. A parable is a kind of speech called rhetoric. It's a kind of speech meant to convince the hearers. Politicians use it when they're campaigning, trying to convince us to vote for them. Preachers use it when they're preaching, trying to convince us, as I'm doing today, to adopt a different perspective of life than perhaps the one that you may have had that doesn't resemble God's perspective. Jesus tells a story. And in this story we learn that he's talking about money and how we deal with money. And in case we try to separate out spiritual and financial, don't do it. Because spiritual means if we're going to be people that are quote-unquote spiritual or spiritual-minded, or the Bible uses the term steward or manager, everything under our jurisdiction, God has given us the management of those things. He's entrusted us with things. Time, our time that is, talent, our abilities, gifts, our treasure. Not only has God given us time, talent, and treasure, He's given us also opportunities. Our job is to manage all those things and do it well. This story has to do with money. There are three different levels or amounts of money that was entrusted to three different servants. One guy was given 5 talents, which is equivalent to $95,000 in our currency. The second guy was given 2 talents, or $38,000. Third guy, 1 talent, or $19,000. Each of them, that's a lot of money. How many of you in this room could stand for a little bit more money? I don't think there's anyone in this room that can't stand for a little bit more. I don't think I'd hear you say, please don't give me any money. I just have enough. I have more than enough. I have more than enough. Don't give me any more. So I'm talking to the right people. And I would ask you, when you pray for God to bless you financially, how do you pray? I've learned that as I've prayed for this over the years, and by the way, in ministry, 26 years of pastoral ministry, when I tally up the monies that we've had to pray for to keep Christ Church moving forward progressively and serving the community and serving the congregation, it's upwards of $250 million I've had to pray in. So I know my way around the question of praying for money. A little bit. Not only have I had to at times work principles such as sowing and reaping to reap something, or work principles and inspect my life and say, am I obedient to God? Am I hindering the blessings? I've had to also look at the topic of, am I trusting God?